So today we're using Topaz Video AI version 6 to upscale this stock footage that I got from pexels.com. And it's pretty low res. It's 640 by 360, the version I downloaded for this anyway. Obviously you could download it much higher than that, but for the purpose of the upscale I wanted to start with a nice low res file. So we've got the original on the left, so the before, and what will be the after on the right. So we've got it set it in two tabs here, and then in the top tab here on the right hand side, I'm just going to double click and I'm just going to put edited, just so at a glance I can just tell. Keeps it organized. So I've got no adjustments here at the moment. I've got nothing applied. So our footage is just, it's the same on both sides. Right. So I'm going to go up to the top right hand side here, under the adjustment section, output resolution. So I'm going to upscale this by 4 times, which is going to make it 1440p. So pretty decent size there for sure. So that's going to be a 4 times upscale on the image. Now if I want to update this right hand side, the after sort of edited side, what I need to do is I need to update. And because my Mac's not the fastest, if I go to minimum 5 frames, if I change this blue render box here to minimum, which is 5 frames, it means that when I press that render button to sort of render the preview, as it were, it's only going to need to render 5 frames before it shows me the result. Otherwise, it's going to take me a long time to keep checking that the tweaks and changes that I make are doing what I want them to do. So this will just take a couple of seconds of processing, and then it will update to the current process. Sorry, just had a bit of a glitch then, whereas it didn't reflect the new upscale size of the process. So now we're looking at the image. 100%, but it's now showing at its 4 times upscale. And what it does with the before window is it will increase that, it will enlarge that by the same amount, so you can always do a like-for-like comparison between the two. So we can see, without any playing around with any settings, we've already got a much sharper image on the right-hand side once it's been enlarged, upscaled to 4 times. Now, the AI model here, we've got Proteus next. So all these with the yellow icon next to it there are ones that Topaz is recommending for your sort of settings on the top of your image. Now, without going into all the different specifics here, Proteus, it says there for most videos, suitable for most videos, and I find that to be pretty accurate. So if you hover over the AI model title there, you get some tooltips coming out with a bit more information. But for now, I'm going to click on Proteus, and as soon as I do that, as soon as I've clicked on that, you may notice that our edited screen has now gone back to look the same as the before. Because as soon as you click on anything on the right hand side in any of these settings, even if you're not changing anything, you're just clicking on a different option, it knocks back the preview, it knocks out the preview. So I need to click that render button at the bottom again, just to re-render sort of 5 frames worth, and you'll see it update in a second, and there we go. So now it's reflecting a 4 times upscale with the Proteus AI model. Let's just move somewhere else in the photo, because there's some trees somewhere, and I want to just have a look at how we're looking on those. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot more detail coming through. Yeah, I mean, you can actually see individual branches on the tree now, and not just this kind of blurry mess like you saw on the side. But we can improve this more. So I'm going to go down here, and I'm not use the add noise and recover detail section on this. I'm going to go to grain. I'm going to apply a little bit of grain, which isn't the same as add noise. Grain is just applying a bit of grain post-processing, which I always find helps to just sort of cement the effect, and also it helps to bring together any banded gradients or anything, broken colours in the process. And I just want to check that, so I'm going to click the re-render button again, so it will re-render now, but with the addition of that grain. And the beauty of doing this is you're almost checking it like an image before you then roll out the whole video. So you can see the grain. Now, hopefully you can anyway. You can see the grain in the sky and see how much that's affecting things without having to render a whole bit of video. Is it too much? I think that might be a bit too much for me. I just want it to be a little bit more subtle. The size is nice. So I might just knock it back down to 1. Click render again to check. Obviously, if you've got a big batch of clips that are all from the same footage, you only need to do this once and you can make a preset, and then you can just load the others in and just, you know, apply the same steps to them all. But for now, at least, let's carry on down here. So frame rate is 23.976 at the moment. Now, just to show you changing that, we could make that 30. We could make that 29.97. So we probably do. It doesn't really matter depending on what it does, but depending on your end use. If you're just using this for a clip online or whatever, we just keep it as it is. If you don't be tempted to bump the frame rate up really high just for the sake of it, because then you're going to lose that. You're going to lose that cinematic kind of look. But just to show you the functionality, I'm just going to bump it up to 30 frames a second, right? So I'm going to go down here. Oh, by the way, there's some parameters here that I've skipped over, and I could do some fixed compression on that. There's an improved detail slider, but again, bear in mind, we're not going to see the effects of that unless we click the render button again. So you are into sort of clicking that and waiting for things to update. Now it's making things look a lot nicer. It's not, unfortunately, it's not really doing much to help out the clarity of the speedo there, because it can't make sense of the numbers because they're so kind of blurred in the original. But there's not really a huge amount you could do with this particular setup for that. But when it's in motion, you won't really be able to tell anyway, to be honest. So let's keep going down. 30 frames per second, slow motion none. AI model. So this model now relates to the interpolation we're doing, which is to change it to 30 frames per second. Chronos fast is a good one. It's defaulted to that. I'm going to leave it on that for the moment. I'm going to leave these two settings where they are. I'm going to not touch the stabilization or the HDR. Don't need that. And the motion deblur, I don't need that. So I'm now going to just process that, and I will show you a side by side before and after.